everybody. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate Trades Edition. Today, joining me is Derek Morgan. Derek is I guess I would call you a lead for referral marketing. Are you the owner or just a lead?
No, Referral Marketing Ideas is my brand. So I'm the founder of Referral Marketing Ideas and the creator of the Referral Marketing Formula. So basically, it's a framework to help businesses collaborate with referral partners to get leads at scale without having the hassle of or the cost of ads and the hassle of complex marketing campaigns. It's all about relationships, connections, and getting quality introductions, which I know the trades industry does that really well organically.
It's not wrong. Well, I'm part of your program. I'm on Refer It with you, and my voice of God that no one else can hear is also on Refer It. That's why I called Michael. And you know Michael as well. And so he is the one that introduced me to it. And then I got a chance to have a conversation with you over the phone. And it's a very cool thing. I have to sit down and start loading a bunch of people into it. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. Although I will say that I've had a few other things going on, but I'm like, it was funny. I saw an email come in from your company just yesterday and I was like, oh, I got to do that. And so that's something that's on my list of things to do. But I think that what you guys are doing is amazing. And I know that I also wanted to do the affiliate side of it as well. Because I mean, when you're a networker, there's so many people that you like perfect examples. Today, I went to a networking barbecue out here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I ran into a friend of mine who was just recently let go from a gig that he has been there for like ever and a day, but he's a hot commodity. And I was like, I know a company that's going to scoop you up like that. So can I refer you? And he was like, oh my God, yes. So it's simple things like that, right? When you know that certain people will connect better on certain things, or if there's something missing in a company and they're looking for a particular person, usually I'll know who that person is and be like, oh, I know somebody like that. So yeah, it's a great system that you have going. So I appreciate that you have it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. And there's some really great key points to pull out of what you just said there in and around, if I could sum that up, it's really about having an others focus or a referral mindset, right? And when you take that into networking events where you're looking to add value and you're looking to find your way to a connection to a referral partner, as opposed to going to a networking event and just thinking about, how do I get my next lead? How do I get my next deal? Mm-hmm. When you make that shift, everything changes, right? So for you having that mindset of genuinely deeply listening and then going, okay, you've got a problem. It's not necessarily a problem I can solve directly, but I know somebody who can, and therefore you make that connection. And ultimately that person, and you don't need to ask, it's that whole law of reciprocity. When you do somebody a favor, they want to find at some point a way to actually add value back to you. And that's typically where referrals come back to you without you asking for them. Mm-hmm. But that's how a lot of businesses work on a referral basis, where their referrals are organic, they're ad hoc. They're never quite sure when they're going to come in. They're never quite sure how many are going to come in. When you actually have a referral marketing model or system in your business, then versus just getting referred leads or word of mouth, everything changes for you, because once you've got that referral marketing model, you can actually go and do things consistently and deliberately that actually generates leads. And then you can actually scale your business through that process based on your ability to deliver, based on your capacity. So yeah, it's really liberating once you get to that point.
I do find soft sales to be a much better approach, especially in today's, like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I hate when someone's following me around in the store. Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? And I'm just like, if I need your help, I'll ask you. Now, there are the occasional individuals that need someone, that look completely hopeless and need someone just to walk up and be like, can I help you? But most people who I think for me, it's all about when you're in person, it's reading the room, reading the person based on their micro expressions, their body language. It's like, oh, she knows what she's coming in here to get, or she knows what she's looking for. I would rather someone being like, hi, welcome to whatever. If you need anything, I'm just over here. That I'm not against. I'm not opposed to people saying that to me. I'm like, oh, okay, sounds great. because that way, they're accessible. But when someone comes in and bugs me and do the hard sales, because every time I go into a networking event, people are really trying to push their product. And sometimes they don't like coming face to face with someone like me who is an avid networker. And I'm like, we're not doing that. Don't push your product on me. And they're like, what? And I'm like, if you want sales and long lasting sales, you need to build relationships. And you're not building a relationship. You're just looking for the quick sale, which means you're going to be a firework. You're going to burn bright and then you're going to burn out. That's what's going to happen. You don't want to be. You want to be a candle. So if you want to be a candle, when you come to my networking events, then you need to just chill out and talk to people. Tell them why you're passionate about your product and what it does for you or for your family and why you got into it. That's what people are interested in. Not how can it help this person, but how did it help you? And they're like, oh, okay. And I have to do that with a lot of people.
Yeah, but you're 100% correct, Lisa. In that whole relationship side of things and not selling, but even being, talking about your product and being product focused in those networking events, if you don't have an ideal prospect in front of you, their interest in your product is zero, and their ability to retain information beyond the end of the day around your products and services and then connect that link to who they might connect you in the future is really, really hard, unless, to your point, you're going through that lengthy relationship basis where you're building that know, like, and trust over time. That has it's incredibly powerful and it's a must do, but that approach has its own challenges because there's only so many people that you can build relationship with consistently and keep them top of mind. So then you've got this referral network ceiling capacity through these individuals, and then constantly trying to maintain those relationships. You get to burnout phase really, really quickly if you're trying to grow and scale. Mm-hmm. So one of the things in business networking where we work with people and business owners and sales teams to change their thinking about how they network. Definitely, you're still doing the relationship thing tick all the time. But when you're actually connecting, be very, very clear on who your ideal referral partner is, and go to networking events not looking for a client, but looking for an introduction to your ideal referral partner. Because once you get that introduction, then that relationship potentially leads you to tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of potential ideal customers of yours, because that referral partner already has a long-standing, trusted commercial engagement with your ideal customer, and therefore when they refer, the speed of trust is so much faster, the speed of engagement is so much faster, and they're being referred in as an ideal candidate. Therefore, they are the right person, and you've got a value proposition to them. It just speeds everything up. It's like ideal referral partners like a big domino. It just knocks the rest of the dominoes down really, really easily once you find the right one. Question then is clarifying who are your ideal referral partners, and then how do you go and have a conversation with them. But I've jumped ahead. I didn't answer the first bit where you started when you talked about noisy markets and people chasing you and hounding you. I guess that's where we were. Now we're there on steroids.
Yeah.
With the advent of AI and AI agents, and I know we were talking about this prior to coming onto the show or hitting record. If any business can spin up an AI agent to do an outbound sales process and then have them running 24/7, and then you've got thousands of businesses who see you as the ideal client, and they've all got 1,000 AI agents smashing your inbox, smashing your phone, smashing your content in your social media feeds, people just shut down. So then how do you get cut through? And that's what we train on, that's what we coach on, that's what we talk to the market about. It's like human to human relationships where the connection, you get an introduction, there's already trust established because of the person that connected you, and then the conversation goes fast. Like our engagement's a perfect example. Michael introduces us, within 24 hours, we've got a meeting booked in the calendar without actually having spoken to each other. We have a meeting, and then the very next meeting is here. We're having a podcast conversation where you're introducing me to your entire audience. And that happens over a matter of days and weeks as opposed to months and months. And, in some big complex sales cycles can be 2 years. How do you maintain a quality relationship for 2 years before you get a selling opportunity?
Yeah, well, it's like that old phrase, right? It only takes one to say that you're good enough. I don't know why we both trust Michael. He's crazy. But, here we are. But no, but that's what it is, right? It's, he's someone that we both trust and we have a great rapport with. And he said, hey, I think you two would have some synergy. You need to have a conversation. Lisa, you're a great networker. Derek's got this, this brand that he's doing and he's launching and it's helping with marketing. And I was like, yeah, sounds good. And I'm pretty sure I sent out to one of my contacts he's a business mentor and good friend. And so I think I sent it out to him on your Refer It, but I need to it would only take me probably an hour to get through the people that I think, and this sounds horrible, but I'm one of those people that if I find a little Easter egg, I don't share it with everybody. I share it with people that I think are going to utilize it the best, that is going it's going to work for them.
Well, the thing is, take the pressure off yourself in not having to block out an hour of your day and do the data entry, because it really is as simple as a process of, I'm going to connect two people up. Connect those two people up through Refer It. That automatically builds your database in Refer It over time. So you don't need to go there and sit there and do the keyboard punching. It's just no, the very next time you do a referral, do it on Refer It. Now you've turnkey tracked and managed the entire referral process from your perspective, regardless of what anybody else does. So therefore, you're just going next referral on Refer It, next referral on Refer It, and the data entry takes care of itself.
Okay. Well, it's something I will look into for sure. Because I'm always out and about. I'm actually going to another networking event here when we're done, because it is Calgary Stampede time. And that's when everybody decides they want to get together and have a party. I'm not a big Calgary Stampede person. When you grow up in Calgary, you've been there, done that. Yep. And so to me, it's just a great big party. And it's fun. But I'm more I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm getting old, but I think I'm more the rodeo. If I can get tickets into the rodeo, I won't pay to go to the rodeo. It's ridiculous. But if I can get into the rodeo, the chuck wagons, the barrel racing, all of those things, even the indigenous, I'll pay to go to the indigenous aspects because what they do is incredible. Their shows, the indigenous shows are incredible. And so those are the things that I will, that I want to do when it's Calgary Stampede time. And I love rodeo. So, I grew up in Alberta, so of course I love rodeo, but that's just me. So it's a little bit crazy, but that makes it easier now that you've said that I'll see if I can set it up on my mobile device and see if I can just work that when I'm sitting down. Cause I'm going to be meeting with a bunch of different coaches. So I'm going to a coaches coaching barbecue event. Say that 10 times fast. But yeah, but before I move on, I want my listeners to know you are in Australia. Whereabouts in Australia are you?
I'm on the East Coast, about if you think Boston in the north versus Miami in the south, I'm around about Virginia Beach.
So do you know? Okay, so you obviously know who Steve Irving is, yes?
Yeah. So the Australia Zoo's about an hour north of us, and my kids had some American college friends over here, so they did a day at Australia Zoo recently.
Oh, cool. So in Canada, most Canadians that I know, if you say Australian, they're like, cracky meow. That's usually what they say. Or if you were if you grew up in the 80s and 90s or further back, then the new Crocodile Dundee, right? So, which is Paul Hogan? Is that his name? The actor? Yeah. And he was, that's not a knife. This is a knife.
My daughter likes teasing Americans. So she's at college in Virginia at the moment doing her last semester. And she was telling us a story that she got, and the tradies might appreciate this, and I hope I do it justice. So she's got 3 of her girlfriends sitting around and they're chatting and they're having a crack at her about how she speaks. Yep. So she goes, here, decipher this for me. The tradie went to the servo to get Smoko while he was at the servo. He had a durry, and the story goes on, but I won't try and ad-lib that bit. So she says to the French, "What did I just say?" And they've gone, "I got no idea." So, and I'll get this wrong because I'm not American slang. She goes, "So the tradesperson went to the convenience store on his break to get some cigarettes, and he had a cigarette while he was there." And the girls just went, "I have no idea what you're talking about." But anyway.
Well, it's because you guys still have a language. Like, even though we understand most of your language, I mean, you speak English, but I mean, you still have a dialect and you still have phrases and terms that you utilize that. It's like me, I'm half Caribbean. So I will say things that other people are like, what? And they're pulled from different languages from around the world, right? It's no different than in Canada. If you meet one of our Newfies, because that's where a lot of the Irish settled, is in Newfoundland. And listening to a Newfoundlander is something out of this world. I remember the first time I met a Newfoundlander in Alberta, and the way they spoke, and I'm like, what did you just say? So it just comes down to dialect, right?
And it comes down to community as well, right? Yep. Because it doesn't matter what industry that you're in, every industry has its own language. Yeah, so, when construction trades people, engineers, whatever, they get together, they can talk at a speed and acronyms and slang that's unique to them in their industry and know exactly what they're talking about. So whereas us outsiders may not have a clue, but that then becomes really important in your marketing, right? Being able to speak the right language to the right person and get that message across really well.
Absolutely. You're not wrong. I like the story though. That's funny because I have friends that are from the UK and they'll tell us stories, and I've been around them long enough that I understand. And I've been around people from Great Britain for a long time, so I get it. But there's some people will be like, "What did he just say?" And I said, "Oh, he's going for a cigarette." And they're like, "That's so rude." And I'm like, "What?" Because he said he was just going to pop out back and have a fag. I'm like, he's just telling you he's going outside and have a cigarette.
Yeah. Well, fag has a whole range of different connotations based on a whole range of different things. So what gets lost in interpretation could have been a long way off the mark. Yeah.
Well, because we say dart in Canada, we say we're gonna go have a dart. That's what we say. Yep. We'll say dart. A lot of them will say dart. That's usually what it is. But I do find languages different, interesting, and I know that when people come, there's certain parts of England that are close sounding to Australia and to New Zealand. So, and then if you tell a Kiwi, they sound like they're an Aussie. An Aussie, they sound like a Kiwi. They're like, no. But some get offended, some don't. Some are just like, no, and then some are like, what? I'm not Australian.
Well, it's the whole confusing a Canadian and American, right? It's not the done thing. You don't endear yourself.
It's true. Either. It's funny because if someone asks a Canadian if they're American, they're like, absolutely not. Like, they get really upset because they're like, I don't need any drama, And then if you ask an American if they're Canadian, the Americans are very proud. And some will say, no, North American or whatever. And some will be like, absolutely not. I'm not Canadian. They're all a bunch of snowflakes. And we're like,
yeah.
We're not, but that's cool. And there's a lot of comics out there in the world that make jokes, and it's one of the funnier jokes because it's got so much validity to it. And he says, like the one guy says, he said, "We're not scared, and we know how to talk shit, and we don't apologize all the time. We just don't know if you're packing. So we're smart enough to get ourselves out of the situation because we don't know if you have a gun or not." And I'm like, it's true. A lot of us Canadians are actually really rude. We act nice to most people because we just don't know. We don't want any drama. We're like, nope. We have like a drama thermometer or like odometer in our brain, and we're like, no, not doing it.
I think we've got to the point now where people are overly sensitive, overly reactive, right? Yes. So you've got to be a little bit conscious of that. Whereas I grew up in the 80s and it was the wild, wild west. It was Calgary rodeo late on a Saturday night in the 80s. So, we didn't have we didn't have as many challenges back then in communicating as we do now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people just kind of minded their own business in certain things. It was like, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. kind of more was a little bit more of the thing. It was like, it's like, oh, do you know that that's like a transvestite? And in the 80s, it was like, I don't care. Like, they're not with me. They're not doing anything. They're leaving. Like, I don't care. Right. But then there was also some of the complacency when things would go sideways that nobody would get involved either. So it's almost like the pendulum has swung completely the other way, where we want people to get involved when there's problems, violence, threatening, whatever. We want people to get involved, but not quite to the extent that they're now. It's like we need to have movements and marches. And I'm like, sometimes we do. Sometimes as a mass, we need to do that. And then sometimes what we need to do is just continuously have those actions where more people engage in getting involved at a certain level and knowing when to get involved, right? So that's, and then when there is movements, which really upsets me, being not only of, mixed ethnicity, but also being female, what really upsets me is when there's movements and people come in and they just convolute the actual message because they want to come in with their own message. So what the message started as is no longer the message by the time you get like a month in, because everyone's jumped on the bandwagon and decided to create their own narrative. And that irritates me. So that's why I don't really stand behind a lot of movements. I know in my heart that all people matter, Black people matter, gay people matter. It's, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you have blood flowing through your veins, you matter, as a human. But other than that, I don't really get into it because there's too many things that go sideways with a lot of and that's just my opinion, right? A lot of things that just go sideways with these different types of movements that happen. So they turn it, I think their intentions are good in the beginning and then it just goes sideways. Like, I'll give you a perfect example, the convoy, the trucking convoy that happened in Canada. That actually was not what it was. Everybody was freaking out and COVID and this and that and jumping on the bandwagon. That original convoy was for truckers going after the government of Canada to make better roads for them to be safer, because some of the roads and highways that they were traveling on were death traps. And that was originally what it was, but it turned into like COVID and then Aboriginal. And then I'm like, whoa. And even the Aboriginals were like, don't bring us in here. This has nothing to do with us, And so that's what happens is you get all these people up. And then the convoy turned into where everybody was like, oh my God, like, why are they doing this? Why are they storming the capital of Canada? Like, what is happening? And a lot of people were really mad. Some people were ecstatic about, we're going to stand up and we're going to show our government. And I'm like, our government really isn't that, he's like, they're pretty tame. Like, what you started off with is not what you're finishing with. And so how can the government do anything for you when there's 600-700 messages inside of one movement? They're like, which one do you want us to pay attention to? And some people will say all, and I'll say, no, not all need to be paid attention to. Maybe like 3.
That's a real powerful marketing message to your listeners, right? Having clarity of message, not mixed messages, being really hyper focused on who you're speaking to, how you're speaking to, and where they're congregating. So, and I think that's a big challenge in businesses right now, and particularly in coming back to our earlier conversation around networking events. Everyone's trying to appeal to every single client and person that they could possibly touch in all of their messaging. And therefore, it makes it really, really hard for people to pinpoint exactly what they do, who they do it for, and who to connect people with. So, yeah, where you're talking about that mass messaging around movements, mass messaging around your products and your business is a massive problem. And when you actually narrow that focus down to speak to a specific individual, a specific business, or a specific referral partner, it minimizes confusion, it increases your reach, it increases your clarity, it increases your impact. So, yeah, I just found that an interesting analogy there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm curious to know. So I was talking to you, and I love that you call trades workers tradies. I'd never heard it, and I really loved it when I first heard it. I was like, tradies, I love that. It's almost
we have beer, we have tradie undies. Tradie's a massive brand over here.
I love that. I think that's great. And I was funny because I was talking to you, and I'm like, I'm going to be putting out a document on the market here soon where in Australia can be utilized, the UK, Scotland, Ireland, the States, and Canada can all utilize this document that is designed more for the tradie side, but anyone can really use it. It's HR and safety. And because in Canada, we do have a higher safety standard, we're just a little bit below BC for what we've done for partners in reduction injury, or I think it's injury reduction partners. But anyways, but it's a big thing. What we call it CORE, which is a certification of recognition out here. And it means that you're well above the safety standard of OH&S. OH&S is like bare minimum. And then we're like way above it. We're going to say we want our people to go home safe. And so I've created these documents and I'm going to put it out to everybody. I'm like, Michael, get that going. And so sorry, I had to bug him. But anyway, so with that being said, I know that there's a part of me that it would do really well in Australia. And, somebody said to me, they were like, well, and I remember talking about it. Would you go to Australia? And I'm like, I'm scared. I would love to see Australia, but I am terrified of the size of insects. Snakes don't bother me. But insects and gators and sharks. And I'm like, and then when I was talking to you, you're like, oh, Lisa, you don't really see that as much as you think. I'm like, you guys have spider season. And you're like,
Yeah, but like, it's an interesting misconception, right? Kangaroos don't jump down the streets. Well, if you're in country towns, they do, just like bears wander through towns in Alaska.
Yep.
But bears don't wander through every town in, Canada. It's 26 million of us survive here every year without much drama.
So, it's like social media is the devil, right? Because then they like throw on these things. So like it's spider season. And if you get a huntsman spider in your house and there's like this spider that's like this big, like it's like bigger than my face. And I'm like, listen, I used to be incredibly arachnophobic. And now I'm not. Now I'm kind of like neutral. Like if the spider's small enough, I'll usually try to catch it and like send it off into the world and be like, live little spider. If there's little house spiders, I'm like, they're good luck. Leave them alone. They eat all the bugs that come in. But before I was like, and I would freak out. And then I'm thinking Australia. And then you're showing me a huntsman spider in the house and it's as big as my face. Like I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they do exist. I wouldn't say as big as your face, but probably as big as your hand. But they eat the other spiders, so they're fine.
Are they dangerous, huntsmen?
No. It's like anything. Huntsmen won't come anywhere near you. If you picked one up, it's going to bite you. Just like if you pick a stray cat up, it's going to bite you.
It's like a wolf spider. Wolf spiders are the same out here.
Okay. Snakes they'll leave before. You'd have to be incredibly unlucky to be bitten by a snake.
Well, especially in the cities, I'm guessing.
You've probably got as much chance of being killed by a moose as you have got by being killed by a snake over here.
Listen, that's actually a lot easier than you think.
Okay, bad analogy.
That's a bad analogy. I mean, getting maimed by a moose is a lot more common than you think in Canada because we get so many tourists that are like, oh, look at the moose. And I'm like, oh, it's stupid.
Yeah, but again, that's just lack of experience and intelligence, and it's just lack of experience, right? People doing the wrong thing, putting themselves in the wrong place.
Yeah, but that's like someone coming to your country and being like, "Oh my God, a roo," and then they go to go pet it, and you're like, "Well, that's stupid."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to get close to the kangaroo and take a picture with it, and I'm like, oh my God, those things are jacked. Like, are you stupid? It's just going to balance on its tail and kick you into like next week.
Yeah. If it's in a zoo, yes. If it's on the golf course, no.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. People always want to take pictures with the animals, even in Canada. I want to take a picture of the moose. I want to take a picture of the bear. Oh my God, look at the big brown bear. You mean the big grizzly bear that could rip your face off? Yeah, maybe don't stand next to it and try and feed it. That's not, They say don't feed the bears. There's a reason for it. Because they will eventually be like, oh, thanks for this food. Now I'm just going to rip you apart so that I can have more food.
Yeah.
Right. They don't understand the concept of the hand that's feeding me. They don't understand that concept. They're a wild animal. So,
yeah.
And I mean, I've seen people go up and there's an Australian podcaster and he watches it. He's so funny. He watches all of these different reels of people doing stupid crap like this in Canada, the States, Australia, anywhere, like even like Germany and wherever. Right. And he's like, and it's almost in my brain. I almost think to myself, it's common sense. Like if you're going to another country, understand what animals are probably not a good idea to go around. I mean, it should be pretty self-explanatory, but common sense isn't so common anymore. And that's really frustrating for someone like me, especially in the trade industry when you're trying to talk to somebody and it's like, what do you mean? Like, you didn't think that would happen? What did you think would happen if you put a drill to the side of a tile? Like, you didn't think that through, that it was going to crack the tile. You didn't think that through. And like, because to me, that's like, we anticipate the correlation, not because we've done it, but because just looking at the logistics of what's going on in front of us, well, that's probably going to crack. We don't need to have to actually see it. We know, because based on of our learning, we have to have critical thinking that if point A is point B and point C is down here and point D, well, what's going to happen if we start cross connecting these? It could be bad and it could be good, but we've already decided in our heads probably the outcome. You know, like when the little kid's walking around with the fork in their hand and they're going to go straight to the electrical socket, and mom's like, no, no, no. And dad's like, he'll do it once and never again.
Literally.
You know, but I mean, like, I grew up in that generation. I mean, I was born in the early 80s. So I grew up with the adults that were like, oh yeah, let her do it once, she won't do it again. And I'm like, you know, it's like, it's that FAFO energy, fuck around and find out. Like, if just let them jump off the roof. Well, they'll break their leg. Well, I guess their summer's fucked and they won't do that again now, will they? And I'm like,
yes. There's some tough lessons that you prefer not to learn firsthand.
Right. And then the kiss method came out. Keep it simple, stupid in the trade industry. That's what we say out here. We say, keep it simple, stupid, kiss. And, you know, and it's funny because there are genuine people in the trade industry that will do that. They will keep it simple and keep it stupid, as in, like, you don't overthink what you're doing. If, you know, like, slow and steady wins the race here, like, we're good. But then you've got guys and you watch them and you're like, why are you making this so complicated? That's why we have the KISS method. So that's where I come back with the common sense. Like, you know, when people are doing things that are overexerting themselves or underutilizing the tools around them or people around them and overexerting themselves. And I'm like, why? Like, and so that's what I started to learn when I started getting into the trades and just dealing with people, was doing the psychology courses. Cause I'm like, I need to understand why people do this, because I had a friend say, don't try and figure out why people do the things they do. You'll go crazy. There's a lot of truth to that. You will. If someone rips you off or cuts you off in traffic, you trying to figure out what could possibly be that person's problem is just going to make you go crazy. You don't even know. It could just be that they didn't see you. It could be as simple as that. They just didn't see you. You were in the blind spot and they cut you off and that was it. And then they waved. If they weren't being like, thanks, they were actually saying, oh, sorry. Like, I didn't see you. Right. So that's why. And that when he made that comment, I was like, it's actually makes a lot of sense. It's a lot of truth. So I try not to do that too much, but when it comes to the psychology on site, when people are asking questions, which I'm a firm believer, ask all the questions you can. I think the more questions and the more knowledge you want to gain from your superiors around you and the seasoned guys that are there, the better. But be careful how you ask questions, because the one thing I know about a seasoned tradesperson or a seasoned tradie is that they hate stupid questions. There are questions and then there are stupid questions. And stupid questions come from a repeat. So if you're repeating the same question more than 3 times, as far as they're concerned, you're not listening.
And that's a valid assessment. And the other thing too that I would imagine frustrates tradies is you come and ask a question that you really should have been able to work out for yourself if you only took 30 seconds to think about it. Yeah. So you're actually being lazy, and they hate lazy because you're just pushing work onto them. So common problem in today's generation as well, a bit of a lack of critical thinking, and because they've had everything given to them, they've had the easy route along the way, they've lacked those critical thinking skills to be able to work shit out for themselves. Any of the kiddies out there, on the random chance they stumbled across a podcast, develop critical thinking, because it is going to be the skill set that's going to stand these kids out moving forward, particularly with what's going on in AI and trades industries at the coalface have a level of protection around AI, but at the operational side of things, the administrative side of things, you need to be across AI, and to be successful with AI, you need really good critical thinking skills to validate what you're producing with AI. So, the operational admin, marketing, sales side of the trades industry needs to be on top of that, and kids coming into that industry need to be on top of critical thinking, because that's going to be their edge moving forward.
I agree with you. And, it's funny. I've been on a couple of different podcasts in regards to not only my own, but a few others. And we've talked about kids and critical thinking. And it's something that I do with my kids. Because we've already damaged some of the ones that are in the world, but it's stop enabling, stop doing for them and stop enabling. And you're enabling by the kids get in trouble and you're like, I'm going to get you out of this. It's like, no, let them feel that pain. Let them feel what the consequences are for their actions. Stop running and saving these children. I've told my kids, I could probably guarantee to you that if something happened, they would call me because I'm their mama and I'm a suck for my kids. But if they did something that would render them in jail, they know for a fact, they're like, mom would be like, sit there for a night. Think about what you did. I'm not coming right away. Sorry, you made a choice.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've said to my kids all the way through. There's choices and there's consequences. And then there's dumb choices and unintended consequences. So, you choose.
Well, but it starts so young. And I'm even seeing it with my kids, because my kids are, my daughter's 14, my son's 12. And kids get themselves into these predicaments. And so there's two problems. Number one, everybody has a goddamn cell phone in their hand and there's 500 angles of what's going on. And, instead of actually doing, I hate to say this, because police are in the trades too, but, they are a trade of sorts, but, do your jobs. It almost seems like a dereliction of duty, because all you're doing is taking all of this information and you're just going off of certain angles of everything. But the perception and what's happening, I'm not like, people will say, oh, a camera doesn't lie, but now there's AI and maybe your angle was skewed and maybe you're someone who you can make something look a lot more nefarious than it is. It can be as simple as someone trying to protect their friend or have self-defense, but you didn't catch the first 15 minutes of the video because you didn't start recording until it benefited this person.
And the media doesn't want to see any of the reality anyway. They only want to see the dramatization of whatever paints a story. Yeah. And
well, garbage sells.
Too true. We could run down a rabbit warren there all day.
That's true. Did you say the rabbit wand? Is that what you said?
Rabbit warren, down the rabbit warren.
That's awesome. We say rabbit hole. Rabbit warren. Yeah. I like it. I'm gonna start using that. Write that down, Michael.
Michael Vermeulen, Dynamic AI Hub, hiding in the background, keeping us on a leash.
I know. Actually, he doesn't keep us on a leash at all. I can just talk so much shit about him on podcasts and he won't come in. I've called him the voice of God. I've told him to hurry up and get his shit together. I've told him he fucked up my podcast. He doesn't come on. There's nothing. I can't seem to make him just pop in and be like, hello.
Just appear.
But yeah, I do. The one thing I will say is Michael has done a lot of amazing things with his company, and I have pushed him and his company and I've referred him, and you're like, you should have used refer it. And now that will probably make it easier as well. Because I'm someone who wants to do the data entry so that it's in there, so that when I'm thinking about it, it's really quick. So it's just a matter of getting used to the system. And Michael was saying there's lots of really good things coming.
We'll fix that for you. So we've got an updated mobile, dedicated mobile app version being released probably by Friday week. So not this Friday, the next one. So by the time anyone sees this, forget about it. The mobile app will be out. But that syncs with your contacts, so you're not having to double enter. Syncs with your CRM. So all of that existing data is just going to be easier to work with. And tradies live by their phone and their phone contacts. So it's a simple app for them to use. And that it's a snowball effect, right? The act of you using it automatically trains your referral network to start to use it as well, because it is so simple and it's so convenient and it adds so much value. So now your entire partner network has a standardized process of engagement, because everybody's got a different CRM, everybody's got a different communication preference. Nobody has cross-collaboration systems in and around the referral partnerships and the referral networking space. So once you start using a platform that's convenient and easy, and the rest of your network starts using it, now it's just so much more powerful, right?
Absolutely.
So that happens by osmosis, just through engagement.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what you're doing is great too. So I got to be honest with you. It's super fun to have a chat with you. And I love that you guys are in. How many hours is Australia from us? Because right now it is 2:53 would be Mountain Standard Time, Canada.
We started at 6 a.m. So it's almost 7 a.m. and I'm one coffee behind.
Well, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you so much. And I want you to have your second cup of coffee. And I know you got to have a chat with Michael after this anyway. So
yeah. And I'll have to keep a note of the date window. I'll have to get up there for the Calgary Stampede or whatever it is and the rodeo.
So always like the second week of July. Always.
Always. Right.
Yeah.
Easy.
Always the second week of July. So if you want to come up for Calgary Stampede, bring Michael with you.
Well, I've promised to come up there and buy Michael breakfast, lunch, and or dinner, or all three. So
he's in Ontario.
I'll tie it all in together.
He's on the other side. He's like 2 hours behind me. It's like he's let's see, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 o'clock for him.
So here's a bit of a training exercise for networking for all of your audience. Do collaborative events and collaborative marketing, co-branded marketing. So what yourself, Michael, and I should do is actually set up a Canadian event. And then I can come over there and write it off as a tax deduction.
Don't you love that when you're an owner? I could just come over there and write it off as a tax deduction. I just love that. I'm the same way. I'm like, don't tell everybody that because then they're like, what? And I'm like, that's why he's here. But what everybody doesn't understand is that the money still has to be put out first. You can write it off when it comes tax season. Don't get Michael talking about taxes. Jesus Christ, you won't be able to leave. But
we'll just set up an event that makes money.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for everybody, and it gives everybody a chance to, because I know you guys have affiliates and you guys have people that will come and help with that. And there's opportunities. So there's so many opportunities for Refer It for people and also just Refer It itself. It's such a great product that just putting people together in the same room and being paid for it. Why wouldn't you want to do that? And then you don't have to ask people for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what you're doing is you're getting paid to add value to other people, regardless of whether they do business with you or not. Yeah. And that's the power of the model.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good model. Well, again, thank you so much, Derek, for being on.
Lovely chatting, Lisa. Really appreciate the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate your time as well. So everybody, we'll see you back next week. Same time, same bat channel, same bat hour. And remember, don't do anything crazy.